Will. So we are live on YouTube, and let me prepare the medium. How's it? We're almost there. Munir, just to be sure, we have stopped on the item 256, correct?
Let me see, Guilherme. Yeah,
Yes,
it's 256, more or less. Yeah, we stopped at the final paragraph.
Yeah, that
Page 3,
therefore,
4.
as we have said, the issue of identify.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I think we haven't finished this paragraph, so go through this.
No, yeah.
So it's our time. Today is 18th of May. So let's all elevate our thoughts to have a quick prayer. Father, that art in heaven, we are happy to be here once more, gathering with friends from both sides of the life to study about mediumship through this wonderful book that your son Kardec brought to us. Be with us, giving us the right intuition, the right support to profit from this encounter once more. Be with us today and always. So be it. So let me share my book with you all. I think you can just adjust it here, make it a bit bigger. Too much. So we will finalize the last paragraph of the item we were discussing in studying last week. And then we take from there. Therefore, as we have said, the issue of identify is more or less indifferent when addressing general instructions, since the most elevated spirits can substitute for one another without causing problems. Highly evolved spirits comprise a collectivity, so to speak, wherein individualities are, with few exceptions, completely unknown. We are more interested in teaching that than in the individual. Thus, if the teaching is good, it matters little whether it has come from Peter or Paul. We must judge it by its quality rather than by its name. If a bottle of wine is bad, the label will not make any better. However, the situation is different with intimate communications because then it really is the individual or his or her personality in whom we are interested. It is then with good reason that we try to assure ourselves that the manifesting spirit is really the desired one. So difficult, this evaluation. A lot of people want to hear from spirit A, B, C. And it's very, very difficult to say that, yes, the answer is coming from this very same spirit you want to. Not saying that is not possible, that is impossible at all, no. But we have to be aware of the process to eliminate the fake ones. Because they can. They can simulate something to make you believe they are the spirits you are expecting to. Will be perfect? Probably not, but they can. Myself, I try not to ask questions specifically to what I need, to what I would like to. Ask questions to help others is a different thing. To myself, I'm not saying I never did, but I try not to. And likewise, if I want to speak to someone that I know, that I love, that went to the other side already, I'm not kind of trying to do that every day or every week or so. I think this kind of thing needs to come from their side to me. If they want to tell me something, it will be spontaneous communication, not the other way around. Like that, the chances to be tricked is a bit more difficult. All right, so let's move on to the 257. Identity is much easier to verify when dealing with contemporary spirits whose habits and character are well known, because such habits are precisely what they have not had time to free themselves from, and which enable us to recognize them. In other words, when someone moved recently to the other side, very unlikely he will change his characteristics. He will speak the same way he did speak when he was here with us, because he did not have time to change his habits. We could say that it is one of the surest signs of identity. A spirit can obviously provide proof through the answers it gives to questions asked of it, but only when it is appropriate. For usually requests of this nature will insult it, and it is best to avoid asking. I think we need to draw a line on how to interact with the spirits, right? I'm not going to ask then if tomorrow will be hot or rainy. No, this is really a waste of time, right? But we can ask serious things. We can have a normal conversation with them. The other day, I heard someone say, "Oh, I don't think we can. I never thought we could speak to a spirit like that." Well, of course, we need to have a minimal level of respect. We need to have good intentions in whatever we are talking to. But they are not like in a massive pedestal way that we have to bow to them and not look into their eyes when we ask a question. It's not that kind of thing, you know? Let's imagine that I will die in half an hour. I hope not. But let's say that I just discarnated. And tomorrow, we do have a meeting in the evening. And Munir or Charles will be there. And I will start to talk to them. Do you think they need to, oh, now is Guilherme. Guilherme is going to the other side. We cannot talk to him. No, I cannot address such a thing to him. And no, I am who I am. I remain the same. you know. So we need to democratize the way we speak to the spirit, knowing that what has to be what is positive, what is not positive to ask, how to ask, when to ask, not futile reasons, of course, but we are no different. Okay? When a spirit leaves its body, it does not rid itself of its susceptibility, and any question meant to put it to the test will offend it. Again, we are who we are. If we don't like about some subjects, if you start to ask me some subject, I will tell you I'm not going to answer. You know that I don't like. Something like that, you know. There are questions that no one would ask it during life out of fear of offending it. So, why would we want to treat it with any less consideration after that?
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to ask about when we're talking to kindred spirits, people, you know, of our family. Isn't it our responsibility to really verify that we're actually speaking to the people we asked to speak to, with so many imposters? I feel that's our responsibility.
Well, first of all, I don't know why I would want to talk to them, right? Why I would like to evoke them. I never did, but if someone like to do, must have a very strong reason to do so. And I honestly don't see a way to prevent or to be 100% sure that is the person you want to talk to, unless you're clairvoyant, unless your perceptions are very sensitive, and you can do, right? If you're not seeing the spirit, you may even ask me a private question, and somehow I had access to that private question and I answer, and I'm not the spirit you want to talk to. So what kind of confidence you want?
Well, generally with our family, we are in communication, with our loved ones and with our ancestors, and have been for over 15 years. However, I don't feel that they get offended that we ask for information that only they or we would know, to verify that it is actually them that have come through. I don't think they get offended by that.
Well, one thing I can tell you is that an elevated spirit is never bothered with questions. They are never offended with questions, right? But that is not the same as you may have an answer and it's not the person. You know?
Could you say that again? It's not the same as
you making a question, having an answer, and the answer you have received may not come from the right person. But somehow the answer has been disclosed to you. So I'm very careful with that. I'm very, very careful with that.
It's not the purity of intention important, though, in this case.
No. It's just a matter of why. You said you do that for 50 years or so, if I understood right. It's entirely up to you. But what you are gaining from it? Are you just want to know, how you doing, where you are? Are you asking them to do good things with you? Are you guys working together to promote charity? You know, it all depends.
No. Initially, we ask that they're okay, where they are, and stuff like that, and they have their free will whether they wish to answer. But generally, they're very pleased to say so. and how free they are. Like my brother was really, really disabled. And yesterday we just buried my brother-in-law. But we, you know, it's not something we'd do straight away because obviously they have to take time to adjust. But generally, no, it's when they want to help us, when we've got severe problems, to advise us, to guide us. It's not for, what shall I say, frivolous reasons.
I would be very careful because we are here to solve our own problems, not to
I
create
understand that.
not to create a routine to be asking for the spirits. Should I take this bus? Should I go this? Should I buy this property? Should I sell my car? Because people do that. And this is not the right use of mediumship, right? So I'm not saying, I'm not judging you at all. As I said, it's entirely up to you, but I never did, and I'm not planning to do things like that myself, because I think that I can use this possibility for a different use, right? So, hi, Denise.
Thank you.
Can it be an old practice? Because I remember when I was like 6, 7 years old, my family doing it. Like the uncles, aunts, great, and just like the Italian people had died, come and communicate, because I remember that. Can it be just an old practice before they used to do that more, and then as we become wise, we stopped it, what Liz was saying?
What I think in the subject is that way, way back, communications were something very, very common, right? And then someone came and forbid this type of communication. I'm not saying he was right. I'm saying he forbid communications because people use that to do everything, and a lot of nonsense things as well, right? Nowadays, I'm more inclined to say that I should use mediumship to do what we do, right? To do good things, to help others, to practice charity. I'm not saying they cannot come and talk. I'm not saying that. But we have to ask ourselves why, you know, because they are not there at our disposal. They have to continue their lives as well, you know. Sometimes it is more our curiosity trying to know what we should not know, or what we should know, and then we create that thing, and then somehow we may be establishing a circle where they'll be around because they want to be talking, because they feel important, because there are so many possibilities, and I personally don't see why to do it. I've spoken to people of my family before, but as I said, they came in a mediumship meeting. They came, they said, "Hi, how are you doing? Blah 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 blah," and that's it. And I'm like, what? 52. I'm participating in mediumship meetings for almost 40 years, and honestly, it happens twice over this period, and they came. They said something, or they asked for something, right? And that was it. I'm not going to bother them. They need to continue their thing. I understand that they have to continue their path, and I have to continue mine. And there's a lot of situations where people may create a circle that I do not see as positive, because we start to be kind of, as I said, and I heard that before too, in a different situation, people that are coming, oh, I need to speak to the spirit to know what I do. I need to speak to the spirit if this is the right university or not to me to do, things like that. You know, but I'm not saying it's wrong. And I said my opinion, right?
I think like as we study more, because spiritism as well, what was in the 1950s has changed quite a lot from what is now. Probably as it develops and people study more, become more aware, they stop these old practices. Okay, thank you, Dan.
I personally think in the future, mediumship will be something so common that we will have more and more interactions on day to day. But I also think that today we are not prepared morally for that yet.
Yeah.
I think we still need to move forward a couple of steps before it happens. Because me personally believe that through a common phenomena on every home, you'll not be able to deny the phenomena anymore, right? But this is not the same as we're going to use that to do futile things, you know? So that's why I believe it will happen, but morally, we are not there yet to do it right.
Thank you.
There are questions that no one would ask it during life out of fear of offending it. So why would we want to treat it with any less consideration after death? If a man attending an exclusive function declined to give out his name, would someone ask him to prove his identity under the pretext that they are impostors? This gentleman would have the right to remind such a person of the rules of civility. Such is the case with the spirits who either do not respond at all or who withdraw. There's no difference between them and us. If we're not happy to answer something, we simply would turn around and we go, and they can do the same. Arago presented himself while alive at home, in which no one recognized him, and was received with these words: "You say you are Arago, but we don't recognize you, so we need you to prove it by answering a few questions. Solve this astronomical problem and give us your Christian name, your surname, and the names of your children. Also tell us what you did at such and such a time on such and such a day," etc. How would he respond? As a spirit, he would do what he would if alive, or the spirits would do the same. Depending on what you want to, what is the purpose of your inquiry, I even understand why you would be asking his ID number, his national security number, or something like that. I would understand. But then you need to see why again. What is the objective? What you are doing that you need that objective? Hi, Charles.
Yes, so one detail is that coloca aqui. One detail is that Kardec knew personally Arago, as well as Lamennais, Lacordaire, and so on, because he met them as rivailles in the societies he frequented in Paris. So that's why he's writing like this, and it's exactly what you just told. The important is the content of the message, is not the signature. So if the content is how to say, in line with Arago, whether it's signed or not, it doesn't matter so much.
I agree. And after you work with a group of spirits for some time, you don't need to ask them their name every time they come, because you know them. You know them by different means, by what they say, how they speak, what they write, even through their energy. You are able to recognize them, you know. But if someone is new and come, sometimes yes, but who I'm speaking to? Sometimes I do that myself, to whom I'm speaking to. It's not because I want to prove identity or nothing. I just want to basically create an identity. So if he comes back, I will be able to know who he is. But depending on what we are doing, I need to be a bit more thorough. So it depends. I do not incentive people to do things just for curiosity. I do not incentive people to do things that have no true meaning. You know, there's a spirit that came to my meeting. I will be asking a lot of questions to him, and on the end he leaves. And did he give me the right name? Was a spirit who was trying to trick me somehow? What he said is true. He will leave, and I will keep the same questions I had before. So we need to ask ourselves why we are asking those questions, why we want to have this, why we have a need to A, B, C, or D. All right. Reminding us all that mediumship is to be used for charity, to help others, right? And there are people that use mediumship to many other things, even to make money, as we know. So again, it's entirely up to them. Hi, Munir.
Hi, Guilherme. Hi, everyone. Yes, this is an important question, Guilherme. What is the purpose of this interchange with the spiritual world? Do they want to live our physical life? No, their world is different. You know, they have other things to do, more things to do than we have here. So why would they spend their time and efforts to actually live the life with us, telling us everything that we should do? I think this is not the purpose. The purpose is to spiritualize material life. So the aim should be actually to prepare ourselves or to help ourselves to live a more spiritualized life in the physical world. But we shouldn't, you know, and that was mentioned before. It used to be very common, you know, people would go to mediums to ask for everything. Look, I'm thinking of buying a new house, and what do you think? And the spirits are not here to, you know, help, at least enlightened ones, to help us with material things. This is up to us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We would be in the spiritual world, or, you know, they would be here with us. And so we should think about the reason for the exchange with the spiritual worlds. What is the purpose? And you mentioned something important, is actually to promote, spiritually speaking, each and every one in all possible ways. The rest, you know, I remember, I think, you know, in the spirits book that they asked why the spirits don't come and tell us everything about science, and so we would spare us the you know, efforts to find it, and said, no, this is part of the process. If we brought everything ready for you, you know, you wouldn't learn, because you learn along the process. It's not arriving at the end that we grant you the knowledge you need. It's the same thing. The spirits shouldn't be here to actually, you know, be with us, telling us what to do all the time. They have more other things to do, more things to do in the spiritual world. And the physical life, in principle, is for the ones who are here. So we should actually try, from this contact with them, spiritualize ourselves while in the physical world. Bring this, you know, perception of, you know, the continuation of life and the results of what we do here in our spiritual development.
Totally agree. Thank you. Hi, Christine.
Oh, hi. I was just going to say, in relation to the spirits coming through, it could be a spirit guide wanting to help keep us on the path that we're supposed to be on, but not frivolous spirits that we're just calling on as a medium. It's actually, and you don't even have to be doing the sitting down, actually thinking about it too much, that you actually have a spirit guide that will help you without you necessarily asking. Is that not the case?
I would say so, right? We have our benefactors, we have our guardian angel, if you like, and they are there to help us. But they don't call us every minute to tell us go left, right, you know? Otherwise, there's no purpose for us being here. Because we human beings like the easy way, right? There's not a single human being that would not like to go in the easy path. And that's what we are looking for. We want everything to be easy. And then would be perfect if I had my guardian angel tell me everything every 5 minutes. And then I lost my reincarnation, because it's not my reincarnation, it's he telling me to do left and right, you know? And so, as I said, once in a while, very, very rarely, perhaps they would come and they would say something to you, like in a conversation, like, but every day they are giving us intuition of what to do, how to do. So, yeah, I think it's not a subject cast in stone, not at all. But again, if I start to ask my guardian angel I'm not even talking about guardian angel anymore. I'm going to be talking about my familiar spirits. Every day I want to talk to him, or every week. I don't see a point. Hi, Denise.
I think, Guilherme, there's a difference between talking with them all the time and like praying and asking for intuition or illumination every time you're making a decision in your life. I think that is what they're there for, to when you're going through bad times, or like when you have a decision to make, just pray and ask them for it to illuminate, that to understand that they are there for, not come and talk with you. Isn't that right? That's the...
I'll go even a bit further than that. You're right, but I will go even further.
Mm-hmm.
They would come to you on the beginning.
Okay.
To show you the path once, twice,
Sure.
3,
Yeah.
4 times. But after,
Yeah.
they present to you so many times, they will not continue coming here as well, because you have to learn. You know, you know what to do. You have witnessed this situation many times in your life. Now it's up to you to grow, because that's why we're here on earth, to grow and to make the right choice, right? Otherwise, let's say I'm 53 years old, and everything I did ask my guardian angel to help me, point me in the right direction. I'm kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, wasting my own incarnation too. I have to learn. So I would go to my guardian angel or to my benefactors or my spiritual friends when it's something really,
Yes.
really
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
demanding. Otherwise, what's the point to be here?
Yeah.
You know, but again, this is me talking, right? I respect everyone's point of view. The only thing I can reiterate is that be careful. Be careful. Because sometimes we believe we are having an interaction with a spirit and it's not. You need to be very careful. Even though, if they refuse to answer queerly and absurd questions, which we would not dare ask of them if they were alive, the spirits nonetheless often provide spontaneous and unarguable, oh dear Lord, proof as to their identity. To do so, by revealing their character through their language, their use of expressions that had been peculiar to them, and by referring to certain significant events and particularities of their lives, they are sometimes unknown to their audience, but whose veracity may nevertheless be verified. Proofs. Hi, Osoli.
For your thing, first, good morning. Sorry, to everybody. Because it happens when we had our Leon Denis in the address we had, and we trained people. And once happens, at the come one spirit, and he to me to write. I write what he said, because it was so we could mark it was then the spirits. Why? Because one friend in the medium too, she was very, very worried about that time, if you remember, it was in land, and the governor of the big land would put a bottle, and could explode all Europe, for example. And it was really, he said that he will do that. And the common wonderful spirit, and I have words, but I don't know, I must have kept I don't have now here, but some expression only him could say. First, it was very, very old expression, and expression of, for example, Sweden. That time they usually say is Svea, not Sweden. So, and another expression too, and wonderful text to us, we will be calm down, because it was not happens. We must calm down to think it clear. So we must be calm to think it clear. So it was very, very good. And this spirit, when alive, it was a Swedish spirit, spirit. And people, everybody there knew already it was him. And we come a conclusion. We didn't need to ask him, because it was so good, the text. It wasn't important. Where are you? So no, we didn't, because we knew. When we knew, and everybody said, we say same time. Everybody said same name. So we recognize him. So I would like to say, because what did you say? New. You said something new. New. In the.
So what you
and the Indian student, you said something. Thank you very much. That was one. I think I would like to say this.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Good example. Proofs of identity also result from many unforeseen circumstances that do not always appear the first time, but which do so in subsequent manifestations. Thus, now this is interesting, right? This point is interesting, because if a spirit is coming closer to us with an objective in mind, like let's develop an activity, let's help someone, let's do something together, he will not come only once, he will come a few times at least to establish that line of communication. And then you start to recognize the spirit. You may do not know which spirit is, but you start to recognize the spirits by the way it speaks, how he speaks, and things like that, right? Thus, it is prudent to wait for them instead of eliciting them, cautiously observing all those that may spring from the nature of the communication. As I said here today, I prefer that something like that come from them, not to me to instigate, because when I want to instigate something, I'm deep into the process, and then spirits that may want to trick me may use that to do what they want to do. So even when we establish the line of communication and we know what is it, sometimes, depending on what we've been told to do, we need to double check again, confirm, and fully understand the reason behind what we've been told. Okay? A method that is sometimes used successfully to confirm identity whenever the spirit is suspect is to make it affirm in the name of Almighty God that it is who it say it is. Okay, I never used that, and I'm not sure how positive would be that. And I'm talking myself, I'm not sure how positive it is, because I can say anything I want. And if I do have the minimal knowledge of magnetism, I may protect myself to allow me to say that, and I don't know. I really don't know, guys. An usurper will often falter before committing sacrilege. After having begun to write, I affirm, in the name of, it will stop and angrily describe the meaningless marks or break the pencil. A more hypocritical spirit will skirt the problem by omitting something. For example, writing, I assure you that I am telling you the truth, or I affirm in God's name that it is I myself who I am speaking to you. Same comments as above. However, there are some who are not even that scrupulous, who will swear by anything you want them to. And that's the main risk, I would say. We can find that kind of spirits more frequently than we would like to. One of them used to communicate with a medium saying, I'm God himself. And the medium, being highly honored with such elevated grace, did not hesitate to believe it. When we evoke it, it did not dare keep up the charade and said, I'm not actually God, but I'm his son. So then, are you Jesus? Of course, it was not probable because Jesus is too elevated to resort to subterfuge. Do you dare affirm in God's name that you are Christ? I didn't say I'm Jesus. I said I'm son of God because I'm one of his creatures. So this is a way to try to identify or try to scrutinize a communication, but we'll see. We should conclude from this that when a spirit refuses to affirm its identity in the name of God, it is always proof that the name it is using is fraudulent. But an affirmation only provides us with the presumption and not the proof of identity. You see? Even if we use the method described above, it's not a proof. It's not a proof. Among the proofs of identity, we may also place similarity of handwriting and signature. We have in history mediums like Chico Xavier that have been scrutinized to the maximal limits of his mediumistic capacity, where people came and proved that the letter, his writing, was exactly the same as the writing of the spirit that was in theory communicating through him. I said in theory because the people did not believe, and people took that to the specialists to confirm that the calligraphy was the same. And it has been proved technically that that writing was exactly the same of the spirit. However, such a means of proof is not available to all mediums, and neither does it represent a foolproof guarantee. For there are forgers in the spiritual world as well in our own. Therefore, there is only a presumption of identity which acquires value only within the circumstances in which it is produced. The same applies to all physical signs, which some individuals provide as a talisman that cannot be imitated by deceiving spirits. However, for spirits who dare perjure themselves in God's name, or who imitates a signature, no physical sign could be possibly present much of an obstacle. The best of all proofs of identity is in the language and unforeseen circumstances. I prefer to stick to the result of what the Spirit is preaching. If the result is positive, doesn't matter which name he or she is using. But it's like the fruit on the tree. A good tree will give good fruits. So that's the way I prefer to use to minimize the possibility to be tricked. One could certainly say that if a spirit can imitate a signature, it can also imitate language. That is true. Having said that, when I evocate someone, if I'm not clairvoyant, if I don't have other means, I will not know 100% that I've been tricked or not. We have seen those who ignominiously assume the name of Christ, and for an even better deception, imitate his evangelical style by indulging in well-known expressions such as "Verily, verily, I say to you." If we would study the writing without allowing ourselves to be influenced, however, deeply scrutinizing the thoughts and the character of the expressions and noticing that alongside the beautiful maxims of charity, there are poorly and ridiculous recommendations, we would have to be completely fascinated to be fooled. I'm thinking here that it's not difficult to be fooled. Huh? We all would like to have a message from Chico Xavier. We all would like to have a message from Jesus himself. We all would like to be speaking to my granny. We all would like to be speaking to my friend that left. Because we are human beings. We would like to, for many different reasons. Someone from my family, because I love them. I have lived with them. I appreciate that presence. Someone with a good name, because that boosts my ego, So we all can be fooled. Hey, Yasmin, I saw the hand, but I didn't see who. So, hi, Yasmin.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon now. I had just about what you said about, everyone would like to get a message from famous spirits, elevated spirits. And I was just thinking that if we were to receive such elevated spirit, we have to bear in mind that if they come to us, they will also see us as what we are, and with all our imperfections. And sometimes we have to think, do we really want those spirits who can see anything, see see everything about us. We have sometimes we have wrong sides that we hide to people, and we can't hide them. We can't hide them to incarnate to human beings, but we cannot hide those sides. We should be aware of what we. Oh, my connection is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. We should bear in mind that fact. Do we really want to comment on dit? Pardon. To impose such a view, if I dare say that, to such good and elevated spirits? I mean, maybe at the beginning, it would be better if it's just something like you and me, like, okay, we both have bad sides. I'm sorry, my English is very poor this morning, but I hope you get it.
Yasmin, I hear what you're saying, right? Not all spirits, they will be able to read your mind. Like, not all spirits will be able to see everything you do. But the question started when I wanted to get to be the medium of those elevated spirits, right? I truly believe that when I want to, I'm already facilitating access to those that may create problems. When they identify that I have the possibility to be a medium that they can use, is a different thing. Because they are identifying that because I'm doing a lot of charity, because I'm really moving another leg to help people, because I'm trying to improve myself. They are identifying that you are someone that they can work with. It's a bit different. Even like that, we need to be very humble. That is not because a elevated spirit is working through me, right? That I cannot make mistakes. I need to be very careful with my pride. I need to be very careful with my ego. Because we all have pride, we all have ego. And depending on the situation, that can trigger a problem that we could prevent, but we could not foresee initially. And that until when it is installed. I'm not sure if I'm answering or if I'm adding on what you mentioned, Yasmin. But another thing that yeah, go on.
No, it was you have it's a good reflection you gave me to think about. Thank you very much. What you just said.
There's one thing that I would like to add on top of that, Yasmin, is that we all want to be the medium of God. We all want to be the medium of Jesus. We all want to be the medium of Bezerra de Menezes, Chico Xavier, whatever. But we don't want to work hard to give them the conditions to communicate through us. In other words, I want to be the guy on the spotlight, but I don't want to work hard to become the guy that can be on the spotlight. Okay. In a mediumship meeting, quite often we have mediums that are jealous one to another. Because, let's say, 15 mediums are on the table, one medium is working with this X spirit. But sometimes the other 14 mediums don't do what they could do to also become available to work with this spirit or another one on the same level. They prefer to be point fingers. Look at that medium, you know, this spirit is only coming through him or her. And sometimes that medium that are giving that, are channeling that kind of spirit is working very hard to be able to. And the other ones, just doing the bare minimum. It does make a difference. Oh, we have a hand here. Hi, Osali. Osali, did you hand your raise? Hand
Yes.
your...
Yes, completely fascinated to be fooled. So it doesn't, then it doesn't matter how much you know about spiritual doctrine or about medium's book. I think it doesn't matter. Everybody can be fooled, to be fooled. Because no fascinated, but to be fooled. How can man? I think it is very, very difficult because I think about me. I am not so mature. I am green, and and I am afraid. I am afraid about this. I mean that. How can I be afraid very too much info when mediumship is
Well, I would start saying that the first thing we need to do is to know ourselves. I would love to be in front of a crowd speaking to them. I would give anything to be in front of a crowd of 200 people speaking to them. So I know that deep inside, that seed in my heart could create a problem, because I may do anything to be in front of that crowd to be speaking, good or not so good things, right? I would love to be known as someone that is receiving messages from, pick a name, Allan Kardec. I would love to be known on the Spiritist movement that I'm signing on the end of the message, Allan Kardec. So it's another seed that can be used to do bad things. So we know ourselves. We all know ourselves. We all know what we are capable of. We all know how to activate those little problems we all have.
You talk about Guilherme, our mediumship we have every Saturday. I think I'd be your prayer, Father, help me. I don't be fooled or fascinated. Fascinated not, but fooled about some spirits also, because of course I don't want. You don't want to too. Yasmin doesn't want, so we don't want. But why I asked you, it doesn't matter how knowledge we know about Spirit's doctrine and the medium's book, we can be fooled.
Yeah, but there's one way in a mediumship meeting that we can always be sure that we are using our mediumship for good. Is receiving suffering spirits, right? If my communication, if I'm starting to receive every communication, good messages, good spirits, there's something wrong, because mediumship meeting is not for that. On the other hand, if I'm channeling suffering spirits, yes, so then I'm protected. That's why I'm not in favor of mediumship meetings where we only receive good messages, we only receive good spirits. there is something wrong. There is definitely something wrong.
Mhm.
So, do you want a recipe to avoid that? Let's work with suffering spirits. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to everyone. This is a recipe to avoid us fall from very height.
Thank
From
you.
very high. All right, so it is our time, and let me just stop sharing here. Let me save first. How can I save that? I don't need it. I'll save later. Okay, so stop sharing. Oh, we have more people in the room than I thought. So I pick one to do our final prayer. Denise, can you do our prayer today?
Yes. Thank you, Lord the Master, for all the learning that you are having today. Thank you for sharing this time between friends and increase our knowledge. Please help us to consolidate it and to apply in our daily life. Please, my Lord, bless us all with a lovely week ahead and help all the people that are in a daring situation through the catastrophic situation that's happening around the world. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So see you guys next week.
See you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye bye.